Vocabulary is one of the key building blocks in learning any new language. Having a large vocabulary raises achievement, supports independent learning, and builds confidence. Building vocabulary involves planning activities that help the learner to build on words they already know. As a learner's vocabulary becomes larger, the easier it will be to connect a new word with words already known. It's important to recognize that there is a difference between vocabulary required for conversational fluency and that required for academic language, which takes longer to develop and is important for academic success. Some words or phrases have different meanings in different curricular contexts. Learners using EAL will need additional support in both learning and comparing the usage of these words. Therefore, it's important for all subject area teachers to be concerned with vocabulary development. How do we build vocabulary? We know that having learners memorize long lists of words taken out of context has limited use. So let's look at more appropriate ways for building a learner's vocabulary. First, it's far better to teach vocabulary in context and provide learners with opportunities to use new words for purposeful communication. It's also easier to learn and use vocabulary that has been introduced through key phrases and structures, rather than through individual words, thereby providing the learner with a helpful context for meaning. We should also be aware that the meaning of many words is determined by other words that go along with them, providing another reason for introducing vocabulary through key phrases or structures. Finally, we should teach vocabulary which is important for the topic that is being taught, rather than trying to introduce words or phrases that might seem easier. Exposure to academic language is crucial for accurate meaning and for increasing a learner's academic potential. Let's now look at 5 activities to build vocabulary for learners using EAL. It can be a useful strategy to introduce key words and phrases before starting a new topic. This can be done through displaying words with visuals on a poster or a word map that can be referred back to during the lesson. Games across subject areas are great ways to build vocabulary. Repetitive games are particularly useful where a structure or phrase is repeated rather than just a single word. For example, a learner starts, "I am a scientist," and the next learner adds, "I am a scientist and I use a Bunsen burner," and so on. Well-known games that involve matching cards or finding pairs can also be adapted so that learners have to produce a phrase or sentence as part of the game itself. This gives learners an opportunity to both recognize and practice using new words or phrases. Learners using EAL who are literate in their first language can create bilingual glossaries, writing down new words in English and their equivalents in their own first language. If the word being introduced is a new word to most members of the class, then that's less likely the EAL learner will know the word or concept in their first language. In this case, a translation of the explanation is more useful than a translation of the single word or phrase itself. It's useful to expand bilingual glossaries by providing multiple opportunities for learners to use a new word or phrase. This can be done by having learners use the word in a sentence, or providing an antonym or synonym, or by drawing examples of the new vocabulary. Finally, you can have learners commit to using a new word or phrase as often as possible during the week and report back. This can be a fun way to increase a learner's ability to understand and use the new academic vocabulary. So why is vocabulary development so important? Much of the vocabulary and syntax needed for academic reading, writing, and exam success is not normally encountered in everyday speech, so exposure to target language and practice with using it is crucial. A top tip for building vocabulary is to decide upon a limited number of crucial words or phrases for each topic and then set up activities where learners will need to revisit the target language over a period of time as often as possible in their speech and in their writing. In closing, you can encourage vocabulary development through independent learning by having learners utilize online bilingual dictionaries. This is especially helpful in pre-teaching vocabulary for an upcoming unit. Make sure you provide learners with the context of the topic you will be exploring and ask them to look up useful words or phrases in their first language before the lesson. You can find further information about using online bilingual dictionaries on the Bell Foundation's Great Ideas page. Thank you for watching. Please click subscribe to be notified of future videos.